Greetings, gamer guys and gals, and welcome back to Tutorial World. So, last time I said I was going to talk about the message system a bit. So, I'm going to go ahead and play this because I set up a few conversations here and there to kind of show you a bit what you can do in your message boxes. So, I'm going to go ahead and hit and play. New game because I'm just going to pop around here. So first, we're going to talk to this girl right here, which this was a character I created a while back also. So let's see what she has to say. Did you know using is that a backslash or a forward slash? I'm pretty sure that's backslash. Using backslash period causes a brief pause for about a quarter of a second in your text box. For example, if you weren't listening to me and paying attention to the chat box, you'd notice that there were some pauses between those periods. Now, backslash in a line causes an entire second to pass, as you could have seen right there in those dots. An entire second was passing between each dot. If you want a sentence to end abruptly, you can use the backslash caret, whereas backslash exclamation point will sit and wait while the input is pressed, so that's what it's doing here. And now you can see the brief pauses. Isn't that just... And I didn't touch anything. Lastly, backslash W will wait an X amount of frames. 300 frames would be 5 seconds of wait time. I didn't press anything. You actually waited 300 frames, aka 5 seconds. So that's actually pretty cool right here. So now we're going to go down to this guy. He'll say, if your form of currency is a long name like dollars, then you could type the /G or \G to display the name of the currency. Now, $$ will actually cause the gold window to appear like this, as you can see it up in the top right corner. Pretty neat, huh? That is actually commonly used for before you decide to go shopping or whatever. So, like, if you're talking to the person, it's like, hi, how may I help you? You can actually have that appearing at the top right screen so you can inform the person how much currency they have. Next, we'll go to this character. You could change the color of the text like this by using the \C with an X enclosed in the brackets by replacing X with a number. If you want to change it back to white, use \C bracket 0 close bracket. It's the default. And then I went ahead and put in each color, or each color that's represented by the number, or each number representing each color. So as you can see here, you have up to 31, well technically it's 32 colors because 0 is white. So you have all these different colors to choose from, and from what I saw, everything after 31 was the same black color as 15. Yeah. Same black color as 15. Now, /O, as you can see here, it's slash, or forward slash, or actually, isn't that /? I don't know why I've been saying backslash. Because I think they call it backslash if you start at the bottom and go up towards the top. And a / is if you start from the top and go down to the bottom. Anyway, I just say /OC with the X in the brackets will give you an outline of your text with the X color. /OW with an X in the brackets will change the width of the outline, for example here. So that... I went with the color 2, which was that orange color, and I went a width of 6. And then, hence, it went back to normal. I said, ta-da. So, I did find out that the default for the outline color is black, which will be 15, and the width is 3. That is the default outline. So, there you go. And we have 2 more people to talk to. Lastly, we have this little kid up here. You see the snot-nosed kid in the name tag up there. By typing /N, what do you call that? Just the less than sign, X greater than sign. You can make the name appear above the text on the left side. That's the default, is on the left. And then continuing, NC, if you put NC, it would put it in the center, and NR will put it on the right, which is actually pretty cool. There's also a way you can display the character's face graphic there on the right-hand side as well, which I might get to that in a bit. Now, lastly, we have my last example up here. My last example will be showing icons for the items, weapons, armors, etc. We have the following: /IIX for the item, IWX for the weapon, IAX for armor, ISX for the skill, and ITX for the state. So here's just a few examples. Potion is one. Rod was... Okay, so the X was the number that, like if you go into your database, it'll be the number that's next to the name of the icon, or next to the item, weapon, or whatever. So potion is default item number 1, so you would just put a 1 in the X. Rod was actually weapon number 2. Bronze gauntlets was number 1. Fire was skill number 19, and poison was actually state number 4. You can use these as shortcuts as well as showing. It's like you can use these as shortcuts as well as showing the icon that's used for each item. They're commonly used for items received from chests. And then he says, "Open my chest." And then a lightning bolt happened and a chest appeared. I'll actually show you how I did that. So we obtained an antidote. As you can see, it shows the icon and the name antidote. Now what I put there was literally just /II. It's icon for the item, and then in the brackets I put 5, which 5 was the item number for antidote. So we've got that antidote. Now we talk to him again. He says, "Pretty cool, huh?" And there was no exclamation point, no ending punctuation, which was my bad. So that was those conversations there. Now, before I get into that, I was going to show you how I did this really quick. All I did was have all this text. I put show animation, and I just went down and found one that I liked, and I chose, I just chose Thunder 1, because I thought a chest appearing out of a, whoop, not that one, down, there we go. A chest appearing out of a thunder would be cool. And then I immediately had control switch, and created a switch for, I just called it Dalam's chest. It was actually a little off, so I had to set a wait timer for about 20 frames to make it look like the lightning happened and then the chest appeared. Because if they happened at the same time, the chest would appear before the lightning actually struck down. So there was that, and then of course I had a switch here to where he would say something different. And so I actually had to have a completely blank page, and then I have like the default chest, like whenever you create a quick chest or whatever, but I had it to where it would only appear when Dalam's chest was turned on. So that's why I had that 20 frame wait before the switch was activated for this chest to actually appear. And then of course this just remains the self switch A to where the chest will just be continually empty. So then here's that icon window, and I put obtained a potion, and I can actually change this to like maybe middle and dim, just to be a little cooler looking, I guess. Now I'm going to show you the plugins page. I know I'm going to have a lot of plugins, but we're only going to focus on one. So I go to the plugin manager, and we'll see all of these. I'm actually going to go down here to where it says Yep, and there's going to be Message Core. Yep, this is a plugin that was created by a guy who's well known throughout RPG Maker as Yanfly. He's created scripts and plugins and all sorts of stuff for RPG Maker over these many years, especially since RPG Maker XP, when they actually really implemented the scripts and stuff. But so anyway, this was made by Yanfly. You can actually click on this, and you just have like this little window here. It has the name of it, and then of course you have it turned on. This is just Well, I don't really want to get into like what all this stuff means. I mean, this is just basically game font is just literally the default font for the game, size and all that stuff. You're not really going to mess with this part. Um, Unless, I mean, you would say true here if you so wish for word wrapping and description wrapping to be on. But so to really get into see what this stuff is, you actually go to help and it'll actually tell you the commands that you used. I actually copied and pasted it right here just to be a little easier to see. So this stuff right here is the default. This stuff right here is default for the program regardless. Like, you don't have to have this plugin to do this bit right here. Like, this is where I showed you the whole color thing, the /C, and then, well, it says N, but you can use X as well. It doesn't really matter because you're replacing it with a number anyway. I used X in the example, so I mean, it really doesn't matter what thing you put there. The brackets, yes, it does matter. Like, for instance, the name window, it actually has these instead of those brackets. It actually had the less than and equals, or less than or greater than sign. So anyway, /V we actually did use once before when I was showing you guys the clock. If you can recall back when I was setting up the clock, I used the /V open bracket and close bracket to bring up the uh, the value of that variable. So let's say if that variable's value was 5, it would show a 5. But so then you have /N, which is commonly used for if you created a game where you wanted the player to be able to rename that actor. So then you wouldn't put that actor's name at all. You would always put excuse me, I just started getting hiccups or something. But you would start using /N open bracket and then the number for that actor. Like if it was actor 1, you would put a 1. So if his default name was, say, Chris, but they wanted to change it to Daryl or something, so then you'd have to put /N open bracket 1 close bracket, and it would show the name that they gave that character, so which would be Daryl in this case. /P is the same thing. It's the party member. So instead of the actor, it would be your party member. So if you have 4 members of the party and party number 3 is Marigold, like, and you don't want to type Marigold all the time, you can actually say /P open bracket 3 close bracket, and it would say Marigold instead of having to say /P, or instead of having to type the whole thing out. We covered /G, it just replaces it with the currency unit. And /C was color. /I is still the icon, except this isn't like items. This is the actual icon ID. So I mean, if you go to like create, I'll show you real quick. We'll get out of this. If we go into here, click on this. This right here is icon ID 0. This right here would be icon ID 143. That's what it means by icon. So if you just wanted to say, hey, it increases your attack, you can actually put icon or /I open bracket 34 close bracket, and you would actually have an attack increase icon, or the attack decrease icon being 50. So that's all that basically is. So now we go back into here. The /I and then the open, I don't know what that symbol is called. That weird fancy parentheses is what I've always called it. The open one will increase the text size and the closed one will decrease the text size. I mean, the only time I can really see that is if you're really wanting to emphasize something, but that's usually why people use bold and italicize. So in order to show you guys a lot of this stuff, I had to, okay, it is a / character. So I had to say /, I had to type the / symbol twice, just in order to just for one to appear in the message box. Because a / on its own will never appear in the message box. It'll always appear invisible. So you have to type it twice in order for it to appear. Then there's the gold window. This is all the weight stuff. / and then the greater than sign just displays all remaining text on the line at once, whereas backslash less than will just cancel the effect. I think I've only ever used that once out of all my years fiddling with RPG Maker. I'd rarely ever use that. So here's the weight, which I've already covered. There's the name effects, which I also have covered, which creates a box with the name inside, and it's only for message windows. It basically any other window like if you created a batch, not a batch, but a scrolling text, it won't work for scrolling text. That's what it means by message window only. Line break, it's just if you're using word wrap, this will just cause a line break. Basically, it's like an enter space. There's only a few instances I can think of which that you would use that, but it's pretty self-explanatory if you know what a line break is. Position. This is one of those things that's kind of a pain in the butt, mostly because of the fact that there has never, like, it's kind of sad really. There has never been any kind of text or anything or like stuff like this coding for alignment, left alignment, right alignment, or center alignment. So if you literally want something to appear in the center of the message window, you actually have to use the position effect, like set the X position and the Y position. So you actually have to say PX and then put a number, and PY and put a number. So it's kind of a pain in the butt. And then here's the outline effect. So here's all our font effects. This will just, FR will reset any font changes back to its default. So that's actually very good because it's like if you just made a bunch of changes, like if you said, if you wanted to give a word a bold and italics, then you can actually just choose /FR and it'll go back to normal. This also changes the font size and the font name. So this will actually, so let's say your normal font is, let's say, Times New Roman or something, and for one word only or one sentence only you wanted to change it to Comic Sans. So you'd actually have to type /FN, that open or that less than sign, and then you have to type in the name. So you'd actually have to type in Comic Sans and then close it off, and it should change the font to Comic Sans until you revert it back to normal. So same thing with size. X would be the size, like if you wanted it to be 24, to be bigger, a bigger word. But anywho, so now we go back down here. This is what I was telling you about. This is also for message only. It'll show the face of an actor X, but it doesn't appear to look like it actually positions said. I know there was somewhere you could position it, but I guess it just defaults to the left and it's only on the left. But this is where, instead of like, the only kind of situation I could think of you possibly needing this to show the face of an actor is if say at the beginning of the game you were given the choice of a male or female, and you had different classes for each character. Like, say you chose a female character and there's 4 different classes you could choose from, and her sprite changes depending on which class you choose. That would be the only situation I could think of to where you would actually need the show the face of the actor kind of code there, because only the player would know which face that should be. You won't know which one they chose. So whatever they chose, it would change the default of that face to that character. And it's the same thing with party member too. So, and then this is where you can change the class name. Not change the class, it writes out the class name and writes out the nickname. It's the same situation. So, but if you're just going straight forward saying, oh, the main character is a guy named Charles or something, you're obviously just going to put the face graphic in for Charles if he was speaking. You won't really need the show face of actor. And it's the same thing with the party member. So down here we have, this is just writing out the name. Like this, like the difference between the names and icon names would be, it would show the icon and the name, whereas just the name would just show the name. So if you put NI1, it would just write the name potion, it wouldn't have the icon for it. So that's all basically this was. I actually would prefer using the icon names, but I mean this would also just write out the class name. So I mean this is just these are just plugin commands. It's kind of more like leaning towards the advanced kind of part of plugins. So, but anywho, that is all about the message system. So I'm just going to minimize that and get back into this. Yeah, so there's the message system. It's it gets pretty simple once you get the hang of using it more often. Like I really love having names and stuff popping up in that above the text box. It just adds more to the game. I mean, some people don't like having names or whatever for every character in the game. I personally don't mind it. I did create a game where I created a character where every freaking character had a different name and it would pop up in there. And there was actually one time where I decided to give every character, it'll show a first and last name up there. So, and there's also a way you can change the color of that text that appears up there. I think that might be in the plugin itself. Let me double check really quick. Yeah, right here. That's name box color. Padding. Come back down. Added text. See right here where it says name box added text? It shows the /C and the 6. That's saying it's changing it to color 6. So if I went to this and changed it to 15, it should change the name that pops up in there. It should change it to the black color. So let's go find out really quick. See, it just changed it to a black color. So that right there is what you would use to change that color. There's also another way where right here, where it's right after the less than sign, if you actually typed /C open bracket and then a number, it would change the color that way, but you'd have to remember to actually remove it or set it back to 0 so the rest of the text will go back to white. Otherwise the whole message window will end up being that color. So I mean, you could definitely do something like that if you want main characters to have it in like a bold yellow color, NPCs to have it in a green color, and like bad guys having it in a red color or something like that. That's up to you. But anyway, so this video is just going to be a tad bit shorter than the rest because all I wanted to do was show you the message system and what I did to give you examples of each. It's like the more common things that I end up using. So anyway, if this video helped you, or if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, leave some comments down below if for anything else you might want me to showcase for you. And don't forget to subscribe, especially if you're new here, or even if you're just a good old buddy of mine. I don't know. But anyway, so with that said, I will see you guys in the next episode of Tutorial World.